Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the Technology Innovation Hub. So this time is going to be the sixth session from DevOps channel on building a basic CI/CD pipeline. Okay, let me share the screen. All right, so last time we just configured the Maven tool, right? So let's continue from there. Actually, now we have to test the CI pipeline, right? So as for the document, yeah, we have been following this document and building a basic CI/CD basic platform, right? So we just completed step 3. Now step 4 is test the CI environment, right? So as per the document, you can see create a new Maven project, right? In Jenkins, and if Maven type is not appearing, install Maven integrations plugin. And the source, yeah, let's continue and do this one, right? So the very first thing is we need to take a look at, we need to start a Maven project because you know that our sample is based on Maven, right? Okay, so I just did a small testing because it's a very first new instance, right? Because the very first build takes time, right? Because I'll tell you that. So the new item, so this is what you go to new item and you can just give a name. But as per the document, you can see you may not get this Maven project option at once. You will not get because since you are doing for the very first time or separate installation of Jenkins, you are not getting because this plugin need to be installed, right? So what you can do for that, before coming to a new project, you can again go back here and you can go to manage Jenkins, right? Manage Jenkins and manage plugins. In there, you can click available, and if you type Maven, and it will be automatically listed. You get something called Maven integration, right? Maven integration. Now I did that one install, so therefore it will appear for me under installed, right? Because I have already installed it. So if I filter that one, Maven, Maven integration, Maven integration. This is the plugin, right? Maven integration plugin. So what you can do, just type Maven and you can select this one, Maven integration plugin, and you can just install it without restart, right? And available. Let me just show you another one, right? So if I just, what you can do, let's say I'm going to select, okay, type something, this one Maven, right? Now don't select this one, right? This is example I'm just showing, right? Let's say I want to select pipeline integration. So tick that one, and you can see when you go down, there's option called install without restart. Just click here. Right? No need to restart. Download and install, restart, not necessary. Just click, select the Maven integration plugin, click the tick box, right, and install without restart. So that will do it for you. It might take 1 to 2 minutes maximum, right? Okay, so once you do that, you can right away go back to dashboard, no restart, nothing. Dynamic rate will apply. Then you click new, right? So what you can do, just give a name for your project, right? This is the very first build we are trying to do. So let's say CI, I did first one, and I can say CI/CD2, right? CI/CD2, just a name, right? And remember, you select it's a Maven project because our example is Maven based. So select Maven and click OK. Okay, so that will take you to here and go down because we need to see tell Jenkins where is our source code is, right? Source code, if you go down, you can get it. Select Git, right? So this is under source. I just clicked here, doesn't matter. Even if you go down, it will appear, right? So it will do me a walkthrough around the with the options. I can jump or direct to the option by clicking about tabs, right? And source code management, Git, select Git, because my project is on Git. Remember, I asked you to fork the tnhdevops repo, right? So then you have to give your repository URL, your URL, the fork one. In my case, I am going to give my tnh hello world. This is where my repo is. Okay, so just click the down arrow and you can copy the URL like this. Click here, it will get copied, right? Then you go back here and you can paste it. Okay, so the URL, the repository URL will appear here. And the important one is credential, because we need to give access credentials now, right? We need to give access credentials, right? And I have created a credential. So what you can do, either you can click right away add here, add the credentials, right? So either you can right away do adding credentials like that, right? Or else what you can do, you can go back to dashboard, right? So, but that will allow you to leave, but doesn't matter. You will come back and go back to dashboard, and there's a place called manage credentials, right? This is the normal way we are adding credentials, right? Manage credentials on the dashboard, manage credentials. Then you can click Jenkins, global credentials, and you can say add credentials, right? So what you can do, just select username and password. Don't select other secret or certificate or whatever. Just select username and password, and you can give your your repository login. Right now, because GitHub there's a login, no, right? That's the authenticated one. So just give you a login. In my case, I have given my tnh DevOps, right? tnh DevOps at gmail.com. That's my login. I'm not using token or nothing, just the username and the password, and you just give a name for that one, right? So if I want to show you, in my case, I have already added that my credentials. Under global credentials, I get this one, Git credentials. So Git credentials is the ID that I have given there. It will appear like that. So you give the username and the password, that's it, right? And save it, right? So here I can get it back. So this is what I have done. So I have the credentials here now. Okay. So let's get back to our dashboard. And now let me get back to my project, and I'm going to select that one again, right? So I can, because I have already saved that one. So this time I can come back and say configure, because it is almost, I have already saved it, no need to recreate, it is almost saved. So configure, right? And get back to our place. We were compiling a source code repository, right? So source code repository, I selected Git, and my URL was this, right? And credentials. Now, once you add the credentials there on the credentials management, if you tick this down arrow, automatically will appear, right? So that is what. And so we gave the credentials, then no any other changes. Leave the master branch, right? Because we are working in the master branch at the moment. We are not going for feature branch or nothing, right? Just leave master branch as it is. And let's learn those things later about master branching and all. So no changes there. Go down, further go down, right? There's a option here under pre steps, build, leave form as it is, and Maven goals, right? Because this is a Maven project, so normally it will be build is governed by Maven through Jenkins, right? So in Maven, we have certain goals, no big deal. Goal means we have different goals, but this time we are going to say clean, install, and package. That means if there is anything with those artifacts will also the existing name, because I am using CI/CD 2, right? And again, it's going to create, this is a Java project. It's going to create a Java file and WR file, because it's a web-based project. So if some artifacts remains with those names, right? So then I'm going to clean it off. Then I'm going to prepare it as a install and packages, right? Because then the WAR file and Java file will be built, right? So I'm just going to add these three goals. I can just say install and package without telling clean, but so as a best practice, good practice to use clean as well. So I'm going to say clean, install, and package. right? So that's it. That's all. Because now what we are doing here, we are just preparing the CI part, right? CI part of the pipeline. So still there is no pipeline here. We are just preparing it under configuration. So we are just trying to build a setup for continuous integration environment, right? Integrating the source code and telling it's a Maven project, and we are trying to just do a build, Maven build through Jenkins, right? So then what we can do, so we are done there, and we can just say apply, right? And we can say save. Okay, so now we have the project ready to be built, right? So just go down and we can say build now, right? Build now. Once I click build now, if you go down here, the build start, right, like this, and I can click here and I can watch the console output. You can see the build is started, almost running now, and details I can get it from here, console output. You can see it's running, right? And it downloads certain dependencies, and because it's Maven based, there are certain library files packages, right? So it's running, and yeah, okay, finished build success, right? So why it happens such quick way? And let me show you the comparison, and you can see this bar is very less, right? Very short, and it didn't took less than a minute, right? But that's why I ran it once, because if you when you do it the very first time, let me show you now. This bar is this much, right? So it's finished, right? But if you see my first build, let me show you the difference. So this is my very first build, right? So if I take a look at the console output for this one, right? If I click that build, which is this, right? If I click the console output, there is build one for JCD1, the very first thing, you can see the difference. This has a lot of things, right? See, go down, 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 down. So further, then only it goes for success. So this took around 5 minutes, because it's the very first time it downloads all of these Maven dependencies as per the POM file, right? So there are dependencies to manage this particular Java project, right? So those will be get downloaded, right? So that's why it's taking time for the very first time. So I did that from that. When you're doing also, it won't be such quick for the first time. Then thereafter it will go faster. Right? So now we have the build success, right? So therefore we can say we have the CI pipeline. Not the pipeline actually, our continuous integration part is working. Still there's no pipeline here, right? So let's see what is the pipeline exactly. So that is done. So now let's inspect a bit what's inside. What happened actually? We just did a build, right? So what happened, right? So you can see in even the document, it says the outputs, right? jar and wo, right? So let's take a look at those things. If you go to CI/CD2, let's go to the latest build, right? Go to CI/CD2, and if you go to console output, I'm not taking the Jenkins logs because at the moment not necessary for us. And if we start here, it says git init var Jenkins homes workspace CI/CD2. So that is where the build get starts, right? You can see even here workspace, because Jenkins builds a project on workspace basis. So you can see var Jenkins home workspace. Now where is this var Jenkins home workspace? Means this is inside the container, inside Jenkins container. We can go into the container and see actually, right? We'll see it in a while. So if you go down further, you can do these things for learning what's happening behind it. That you need to know, right? And to go down further, you can see the build success. You can see here it says the build is success, right? You can see the build is success, and you can see the WO file, WR file, web archive, right? And you can see the Java file has been built, the executable. So now we need to identify where those things get built, right? You can see if you take a look at the output, var Jenkins home, right? So it's the same place within the container where it started the building at the very first. You saw the workspace, right? So it's the same workspace is continuing, but this is within the container. So we can go into the container and we can see, but remember I told you something called persistent storage, because there is a volume that you have created on the operating system as well. In our guest OS, there's a disk, right? So there is a volume there and it maintains a mapped copy, because there's a copy in the local host as well as there is a copy in the container. These things are synced up together. So if we can see both copies. So let's go into and see, right? Okay, now, where am I here? PWD. Yeah, I am in var Jenkins home. Now, if you are following properly, you will get to know definitely var Jenkins home. This is, I am within the container. Yes, true, I have connected to it. You can see that. My Jenkins container is Docker PS. Jenkins container is this 62B. So I have connected to 62B bin bash. We did one earlier also. And then I have gone to this particular folder, cd var Jenkins home workspace. That was the same folder here it's talking about. Var Jenkins home workspace, right? So now I'm inside the container. So if I want to see these things further, the jar file and war file, so I can go into my project. Now I can see I have two projects. Now this was I did earlier. So if I list the content, I can see the new project as well. This is the very first time I ran it. So now we ran the second project as well. Now we have that folder as well, right? CI/CD2. So if I go into CI/CD2, right? Then if I type ls, now you can see the web archive is there on the web app, right? So if I go to web app, that is because it's Tomcat based, we learn that one later, right? And you can see in the target, you can see again web app. That's enough, right? We have the web app.war file. That's okay, right? Web app.war file. Right? So it just built today. It's time. This is the server time. That's okay, right? So that's been built. So that's the WR file. So this path is this, right? So the same path that the Jenkins build is talking about, right? CI/CD2 web app target. CI/CD2 web app target. That's what. This is within the container. So same thing, I can get the jar file as well. The jar file is not under web app, it's under server, right? So right away I can copy this one, right? So let's copy this one. There, right? So that's what we will see the jar file, right? But the jar file name, is this the name? Let's check. The name says we have to go inside further, right? So server.jar, right? Yeah, that's the on the container, right? But when it's come to the project Maven build, it says under Maven project snapshot jar. This is for Maven base, right? So we are checking the Jenkins side of it. So we can check the Maven part also, because in Maven there's a different way the projects are structured. So it comes under project folder, Maven project. After that server, and this is the name the default, because we didn't customize those things. Don't worry, let's keep it for the time being, because Maven customization we will learn later, right? So that's for the Maven, it goes with this name. And for Jenkins, it goes with this name. We checked only Jenkins part because we are inside the Jenkins container. All right. So this is inside Jenkins container, right? So if you want to get the map, I said there's a same copy for persistent volume, the same copy is there on OS side as well. Now. So that we can check it from this. Right, so make sure you're on root, because certain volumes are not accessible under Docker user. Right, so now I am in this folder, right? PWD. Right, so this is the previous one, CI/CD1. So let's get back. So we should have the CI/CD2 now, right? Let's tr. Yeah, we have CI/CD2. So let's go to CI/CD2, right? And Yeah, we are here, right? Yeah, we are in Jenkins workspace. Now this is the difference. Now, where am I now? This is I am right away in my host, I mean the guest OS. You can see host name. Yeah, this is because I am running Minikube here, so that's why the host name is given like that. But that's okay. Anyway, if I look at the IPADDR, I am in my guest OS, right? So you can see the IP address. Okay, that 1802 IP address should be there somewhere. Right? That's okay. Right. Anyway, I'm in my normal guest OS. Right? Because there are certain network configurations that's been done here, right? That's okay, right? So I'm inside that, right? So therefore, in there, I have to go valid, right? Okay, let's exit from here. I'll totally come out from that. Let's open a new route, right? I'm going to go to right away a new terminal, right? Right away new terminal from guest OS, right? So let's do this. I'm going to go cd var lib docker, right? And list. So now I want to go to volumes, right? Volumes. So that is because that is the persistent volumes are there. So an ls. So in that you can see there's something called Jenkins data that shows the volume that we created, right? cd Jenkins data. In that there's something called underscore data. Okay. Now you get, now I'm here. Now you get workspace. Because the paths are different. Now, this one is inside the container now. So it goes Jenkins then because my volume content will be mapped to Jenkins home. That's true because you may remember if I get back to our mapping at the very first beginning of this one, when I run in the container, I am mapping in that way, right? You can see Jenkins data that is on my guest OS. I am mapping it to var Jenkins home within the container. So that's the same mapping we are checking now. So this is my guest OS. I am in that one. Yeah. In my Jenkins data, this one that is on my left hand side. And here I am on my right hand side, var Jenkins homes. Right. So this is volatile within the container. This is persistent. Even if I exit the container, this part will be there. So that's why we need to have persistent volume creation when we run it Docker containers, because container is transient. It comes up, goes down, everything gets destroyed. Right? So that's why we need the persistent volume mapping. PVM we'll learn more detail later, volume management, but for the time being, this is a very basic explanation. So anyway, I am within workspace, right? So in that workspace, I can get the same project. Now I am back to there, CI/CD2, right? Same thing, nothing to explain much further actually. Goes to the same path. You can see target, right? And now you see the web.var. Similarly, if I go back to Java file also, I can get it under server folder. So it's under my server folder, right? On the target, right? So I have the server.java, this one, right? Okay. So I think you got a better understanding on what's happening behind. I can show you one more thing here. Don't know whether it will make it more complex, but doesn't matter. Just try to get this one also if you can understand. You can see there's a Docker file. Right? There's my Docker file under workspace under project. So if I just cat that Docker file, can you just try to understand what this means, right? I'm not going to explain now. Says from Tomcat and maintainer likewise, and just forget about this email address. That's fine. And copy web app likewise. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. So let me just come back to our explanation. So that Docker file we'll be using later when we deploy it, right? When we deploy it to the Tomcat server, we will see what's going to happen. For the time, we just leave it. So the Docker file is here, this place. Right? Right. So, I think that completes the basic CI build, right? Yeah, okay with that. So our build was success, right? And yes, so let's go back to our document, right? And building CD CI pipeline is done, right? So yeah, okay, we understood what's happened there, right? And so the build is successfully done there, right? And so now we can go to the next step. What is our next step? Because to complete the pipeline process, we need to have CI/CD. Now CI is okay, right? Basic CI is okay. We need to configure the CD, right? This is what CI/CD. Now what we have done, we repo, we have the Git, we linked into the Jenkins. We did up to this place, build, right? Check-in and all, we learn that one later, right? Once we complete the pipeline, we can go for as code checks in the deployment should happen. We'll do that one soon. Initially, once we complete the deployment part of the pipeline as well. Right? Now, that's why next step is to configure the CD part, deployment part, right? Build in the CD pipeline. That's the next step. All right. So that we will start in the next video. Okay. So thank you very much for listening. If you like the video, you can subscribe. I will see you soon. Okay. Have a great time. Bye bye.